Hello friends and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick and today we're going to be checking out something called Way to Go. Now if you're a fan of Indie Impressions or you've been around this series for quite a while, you'll know that I endeavor to always try to do my best to find original and unique games, things that don't really fit into any other mold and haven't really been presented in any similar way before. Now I would say Way to Go absolutely fits that case, and basically what this is going to be is us wandering through the forest, and I know let's, back up a second here. We've covered a few games where we wander through the forest. However, this presentation quality and style is very, very different. We're actually going to be doing some splicing between, like, actual naturalistic video capture and a sort of an animated process that's going to happen a little bit later. And there's some characters that interact in unique ways. There's sort of a musical journey that goes on, and it's just a very beautiful presentation. In actuality, the little blurb that they present us with here on the front is not the most helpful thing, but it is definitely kind of there to set the stage, I would say. So Way to Go is an interactive experience for human beings between 5 and 105 years old. Maybe it lasts 6 minutes, maybe it lasts forever. Shall we begin? In fact, we shall. Alright, so we've got a little bit of a loading screen here. W, E, spacebar, and mouse. W to walk, E to run, spacebar to jump, move your mouse and look around, click to do things. I like how it keeps things sort of purposely vague. Alright, so we're going to have a look around here. Way to Go, there's our title card, there's our character, and there's another character here, both of which are going to play a role in the way this unfolds. Now, we can take a look in any direction at all. We can look up into the canopy. We can see there's some beautiful bloom coming through the clouds. There's sort of a little noise filter going over everything, and everything is a bit of a kind of a dithered, blurry quality to it, which aids in making this feel a little bit more dreamy. But there's perhaps another kind of production-related reason for that, I would guess. I think a lot of what I've been enjoying as I've been playing this is just sort of taking in the sights, and of course also trying to figure out how on earth the developers made this, because it's kind of fantastic. Go on, make your way, stop to see the smallest things. No one's waiting, no one's keeping score, so we can actually just stop and sit down at any point if we want. There was no button involved with that, though. Character just decided. So here's where we start. Wandering through the forest, the music starts to kick up. We can do a little bit of jumping if we choose. We can do a little bit of running. Of course, as we smack down, you'll notice there's a chime that'll play that's a bit musical. We can, of course, look in every direction, but once we've gone in a direction, we can't really go back, so we do have to keep that in mind if we want to stop and take in a sight. Don't walk too far, it'll be gone unless you start over again. Now, if I click, every now and then it'll show me a little video of a chickadee on a branch or something similar. I think what's amazing here, though, is that we can look in every direction. In fact, we can even fly here, which is pretty sweet, too. And there's so many little things that are sort of inbuilt to this experience that, like, I never would have expected to see. The fact that we can interact with this little sort of a dynamic path trail marker thing that's going on is pretty magical, as well as the fact that there's, like, a dynamic light that'll occur. Like, I have so little knowledge, perhaps, in, like, the high-end level of video editing and what would be necessary to figure out how to create a project like this, that it all seems sort of just magical to me. And I guess that's, maybe something that isn't going to be the same for everybody's perception of this, but me personally, I find this pretty wild. I like, too, that our cameraman here is just sort of hanging out with, I don't know, whatever that sort of rod is that's waving back and forth. I guess this is our metronome keeping pace as we move forward. But any one particular frame that we like, we can just stop and, like, look around if we want. We can see what's over here. It's a little bit blurrier for the fact that I've made it full screen. Might actually want to leave that full screen off, but, experiment as you will, see what looks right to you. We could run for a little bit here. Of course, the stream happens to pick up the pace a little bit. It would be even another process entirely if they were able to isolate the ground moving from the stream moving, and I'm not really sure how that would all work out. But maybe that would be another project for someone else. Anyway, let's run through the forest for a little while. I'm going to leave things to be purposely a little bit quick, just for the fact that I think you guys should all experience this yourselves. Take in the sights and sounds and wander about and fly around through the forest a little bit. I'm imagining how cool it could be if they could build, like, a dirt bike game or something around this, or like an off-road mountain biking style game around an actual environment that exists that we could actually have to interact with. I mean, I know we've kind of come full circle from the era of CG games, and those were all pretty awful back in the day, but I think maybe that this is like an entirely different level of interactivity, that maybe there are some new options and opportunities here that could be afforded. I mean, look how cool this is. The vibrant colors and rainbowy everything is all just blending together. Then we find ourselves pushed through to the other side of the water realm. We're going to run a little bit more forward here. What does clicking do here? Oh, we've created an image of ourselves that we can run away from that'll stick in the realm. Very psychedelic. I mean, honestly, I really enjoyed the IRL forest a little bit more than this one, but they both go pretty well to accentuate the point here. His little touches as a bird chirping off somewhere. It's a pretty wild-sounding bird. And I like this character, too. It's, I don't know, for some reason, it's just the right level of, kind of reminds you of a humanoid form, but also doesn't make you think you're just literally a humanoid walking through the forest. Gives you this realm of magic feeling, which is, I think, what's generally been trying to be a big driving force for this creation in the first place. Look at that. Every time I click, it's creating one of those trails, by the way. And it's lighting up the marker on the ground, too. Some of these angles can be a little bit awkward, though, as you go around the corners, I've noticed. Just keep running onward here. And eventually, we'll find our friend, the camera operator or metronome operator from the prior area. And he'll run along with us for a little while. We can do a little bit more flying here. Looks like things are starting to get a little brighter. The noise filter seems to be getting a little bit stronger. What are we approaching, though, is the main question. Oh, you've stopped. And now we're back into the real forest again, and now the metronome operator is actually running along with us in this experience. And we can actually make magical rainbow spectrums shoot out of us. And there's a pretty wild filter that seems to be going on over everything as we move. I can't say that I've ever seen anything really exactly like this before. It's such a cool experience. I kind of wish there were, like, diverging paths that maybe you could take on, like, go down different ways. Maybe it would be a little bit dynamic in that way, but I also completely acknowledge that from the amount of knowledge that I have of video editing and how this might work, this seems like an incredible undertaking, so, like, I wouldn't want to put too much on them, because I have a feeling this probably took a very, very long time. And now we're presented with a meadow and some beautiful fireworks, and we're going to go meet our friends off in the field here. And I don't know where exactly this ends, but I feel like there's probably going to be a conclusion fairly soon. You know, these characters remind me a little of those blockhead guys from Gumby. As funny as that is, maybe that's a little bit of where I'm getting some of the magical evocation there. They're all shooting spirit lights out of their heads. What a cool thing this is. Look behind us, see the field going off into the distance. We're all running together. Anyway, I think I'm going to wrap things up at this point. I'd like to leave if there's anything left to see for you guys to all experience. I guess we're all just going to go to sleep in the field here. But that was a really wild and awesome thing. You'll be able to check this out in your Chrome browser if you do have that. It doesn't seem to work in Firefox, but definitely go give it a look. Let me know if you enjoyed this experience, and of course, leave a comment letting me know what you think about things like this in general, new kind of experimental art montages of different types of work. However you can fuse art and illustration together, video and illustration, I mean, is always interesting to me. So if you know anything else like this or anything that's similarly strange and wonderful, feel free to let me know in the comments or just, you know, have a discussion as well. And I will see you all tomorrow for another episode. So thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope you have a fantastic night.